Hey Taurus, welcome to your weekly forecast for November 29th through December 5th. This is going to be for Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Even though I'm setting the intention for November 29th through December 5, these messages are going to apply for you whenever you stumble upon this video, okay? Keep in mind that this is a general reading. Not every single message is going to resonate. So take what does, leave what doesn't. And we're going to see what messages are coming up here for the Taurus collective, the Taurus Sun, Moon, and Rising. I feel like we need a couple more. Taurus, I'm getting a really interesting vibe here. I don't know why, but I'm feeling a sense of like, I'm going to say a casual meeting, okay? I don't know if you were ever in a situation where like maybe you would go camping or people would come over for dinner, maybe when you were younger, and all of a sudden it gets into deep conversation, serious conversation. Like either serious matters are being discussed or things are getting really philosophical, and people start making plans and things. I don't know if it's kind of hard to explain, but I don't know, Taurus. I feel like a lot of you are coming into a time where there's going to be some big plans made. Big plans made with your group, with your people. So maybe you're looking at what's happening in the world. I know a lot of times like people like in churches and stuff will have this, right? Like they'll have a little group and they'll sit down and they'll have like a in case of emergency plan or how you guys are going to help each other through a difficult time. Some kind of like emergency action plan. I feel like a lot of you are getting that together, or you're figuring out who you're going to lean on or who you're going to depend on, coming into agreements or having these kinds of talks. Very interesting. It came out of nowhere. I'm just going to put that out there. We're going to see what your cards have to say, however. First card coming up here is the Eight of Pentacles, which oddly enough can mean finalizing the details. So yeah, some of you might be looking into your plans or your ideas. Now, the Eight of Pentacles lets us know that you might be coming into a time where you're perfecting a plan. You're perfecting something that you're doing. If you're struggling at work and you're worried, like they've already talked to you, or you kind of feel or you sense that you've been slipping, Eight of Pentacles can come up to say, relax, relax, relax. It's going to be okay. Take a deep breath and just slow down. Just slow down. Don't try to go in there and knock a bunch out right away. Don't get overwhelmed with, oh, I'm being too slow. Don't let the negative ego talk to you like that. And just focus on it one step at a time, one thing at a time, and don't rush. Eight of Pentacles sometimes comes up when you're feeling very overwhelmed at work or you've gotten in trouble at work, and it's just saying you're going to be okay. Just slow down and pay attention to the details, right? Your detail-oriented work is going to speak well for you. It's going to go far for you. So Eight of Pentacles can come up to say, look, this is a situation where it's about quality and not quantity. Speed will come over time, right? As you get more used to doing something, speed will come over time, but you want to pay attention to quality, not quantity. As I said, Eight of Pentacles can also be finalizing plans, carving out the details. So I feel like a lot of you might be getting ready for some really big move. And my heater just kicked on when I said that. The gas and the flame went whoosh. I just heard it. You know, so I was going to say some of you are getting ready for some big major move, right? To steam roll forward here in just a little bit, but this is the time of planning, which is interesting because I got a sense of sitting around and talking together. So some of you might be thinking about the future, and you some of you have heard me talk about safety nets, and you're thinking about safety nets in a bigger or broader way. And so you might be thinking about like, who is going to be our community, who's going to be our tribe, who's going to, have our back. And so you might be talking with people about action plans, about coming together, right? A lot of you are preparing for financial changes and financial shifts. I feel like a lot of you Taurus have been paying attention to money and what's happening financially right now, economically, and you've been educating yourself about money and how money works. And a lot of you are realizing that there's some inflation coming and you're preparing for that. How can I get around that? How can I be prepared for that? Right? Some of you might be storing food, or just like having dried and canned goods and things put away for, if it gets harder to get a hold of later, or if the prices are really going up really high, and you have something put away. You might be talking to people about, like coming together and helping each other out and having an action plan, or like a community garden or something. But I feel like a lot of you are preparing for just like the same way that we prepare for bad weather, right? I've grown up in California most of my life. We never had seasons out there. And then I moved, and they were like, oh, there's a cold front coming in. And last year, we had to, stay in for like a week. And so, make sure you have water and make sure you have food and stuff. In California, we never had that. We never had a time where we couldn't go to the store because of the weather, right? But some of you might be used to that. And so just the same way that people around the world prepare for bad weather, I feel like a lot of you are preparing economically. You're looking at the financial trends, you're getting educated about money, and you're putting together a plan of how you're going to handle it, how you're going to deal with it, how you're going to be prepared for it. And for some of you, you're doing this with a small group of other people. Like you guys are coming together, like we're going to have each other's back, and we're going to help each other through this. Don't panic if you're all alone. Don't panic if you're by yourself. That doesn't mean that you can't prepare. But it could be that in that preparing, you begin to align with like-minded people that can give you advice, give you guidance, that might become your little tribe or your little group. Your next card coming up here, Taurus, is the Sun. This is a major arcana card, and a lot of you have heard me say, anytime the major arcana cards come up, again, don't panic, don't worry, because the situation that you're dealing with is an experience that you came here to have. You came here to accomplish this. You came here to knock this out of the park. So you really can't fail as long as you keep moving forward. And anytime that we're at these big transitional energies, our angels and guides are around us. They're helping us. They're supporting us. They're guiding us through this. And so you're not alone. And the Sun card is very positive. The Sun card is freedom. It's playfulness. It's success. It's like coming out of hiding and being seen, being celebrated, being recognized for our gifts and our talents. Okay. Now, I don't do love readings in the weekly forecasts typically because there's so many love readings out there. I do a once a month love reading. And then in the weekly forecast, I try to talk about things other than love. I've done the love readings for December. Those are linked in the description. I'm just going to say one quick thing about love and romance right now here with the Sun card because Spirit is telling me to say this. So if Spirit tells me to say it, I have to say it. The Sun card can be coming out of codependent relationships and mastering true love. Because the Sun card is like true love where you're able to be who you are and you're loved for who you are. And you're not trying to control your partner. You love your partner for who they are. There's no competition. You guys are proud of each other, seeing each other shine, get attention, succeeding. There's nothing but trust. You're not feeling insecure. Oh my gosh, they're getting so much attention. What if these, people come up all on them and like they're tempted to cheat? It doesn't even cross your mind because there's a connection here. There's true love here and you guys are committed to each other, right? There's no reason to mistrust. And this is a solid union. So also a sense of playfulness, like the inner child plays well with their inner child. And so some of you might be worried or concerned that you're looking at the state of the world and you're worried and you're concerned and you're like, oh great, the world is ending and I haven't found my person yet. The world isn't ending. The world is not ending. It's just beginning. We're coming into a new beginning. We're coming into a new age. But even if it were, right, if we want to get technical about it here, I reference the Bible because I was raised on the Bible. I was taught to read from a children's Bible. But there's a scripture that talks about the end times, and a lot of you are like, oh, holy moly, this is the end times, this is the end times. Well, even in the end times biblically, it talks about the end times before the new world. Before, whether you believe that to be a paradise earth, whether you believe that to be the second coming of Christ, whether you believe that to be, the kingdom of God taking, place and root here over man. However you see it happening, or you see it as a new age. You see it as an evolution. The same way that in the past there was a dark age and people said, oh man, we're being barbaric. We're doing some really sick stuff. We shouldn't be doing this sick stuff anymore. And people became more civilized through art, through spirituality, right? We're coming into a period of, upping our game and being more civilized again. We're waking up to like, whoa, we shouldn't be doing these things as a human race, right? So if you're sensing or feeling that things are coming to an end, you're right. But new things are coming into a beginning. And even in that sense, the Bible said, even in the end times, up until the end, men would be marrying and women would be given in marriage. So even then, there's going to be a sense of normalcy. There's like life is going to continue. It's not going to be the end of the world. People are going to be meeting. People are going to be interested in each other. People are going to be falling in love. So your window for love or a relationship has not ended, right? I'm thinking of the movie Looking for a Date for the End of the World. It's not the end of the world like that. And you're not too late in terms of love. So just Spirit is telling me to share that message. I'm not going to focus too much on love in this reading. You can check out the December love readings linked in the description. But what you need to know is that, yes, these times can be scary, but they're leading us to good things. And it's not too late for you. You're not meant to be alone, or you haven't missed the ship, so to speak. Okay? The Sun card can also indicate for some of you this thing that you're that you're perfecting, that you're preparing to put out there, whether you're launching some kind of campaign or product or putting some business out there. The Sun card can indicate that it's going to be very successful. It's going to be seen by a lot of people, right? Like you're making a name for yourself. Next card coming up here, Taurus, is the Three of Wands. So some of you are definitely making some big moves and changes here. Okay? Maybe you are moving to be closer to a certain community or tribe. Soul tribe, soul family. Maybe some of you are even looking into investing in land with either relatives, like family, or close friends, or a community of people, or members from your church or something. Like I said, I feel a sense of like coming together and preparing for the future. And some of you might be doing something where you're looking at kind of like changing the way your money is coming in, changing the way that you're working, changing the way that you're dealing with your finances. And there could be something here where some of you are moving and like settling on land and working the land, looking into like growing food. And very interesting and very random, but that's what's coming in for some of you. For other ones of you, as I said, you're preparing to launch something. You're preparing to put something out here because you might be looking at ways of becoming more financially independent. And we won't get too much into reasons of why that might be happening, but a lot of people are finding themselves right now like trying to figure out alternative ways of making money, right? It's been on the news. People are leaving different industries in droves, or different types of jobs in droves, because either they just can't do it anymore, or they might have concerns over policies that are being implemented, and they're looking at like different ways of earning money or making money. So some of you might be doing something in terms of self-employment or launching a business. And the Three of Wands lets us know that it's going to be successful, right? You're going to be able to see what worked really well, what needs tweaking, but overall it's going to give you a favorable return. It's going to give you a profit. Three of Wands also has the element with it of awakening. What's been seen cannot be unseen. You're out of the box, you can't get back into the box. And so the Three of Wands can come up with the sense of, this is the point of no return. We have to move forward. But we also know that moving forward is going to be favorable, is going to give us positive results. So this is a time for action. This is a time for change. This is a time to move forward with the trust and the faith and the belief that your hard work is going to pay off. That you're going to see progress and you're going to see results. Your next card coming up here, my dears, is the Queen of Cups. And the Queen of Cups is very intuitive, very psychic, very healing energy. Also very loving, very nurturing, very maternal, very motherly. So some of you may be looking at ways of like safeguarding your family, or you're wanting to have a family. You may be stepping into this maternal energy. You may be attracting maternal energy in establishing a family, or somebody who's going to come in and bring this energy into a family dynamic. Now, Queen of Cups a lot of the times comes up for me in my readings when Spirit is saying that emotional self-care is crucial for you right now. Your success, your stamina, your ability to be successful in the long run and not burn down, or burn out, I should say, is really dependent on your emotional self-care. Making time to honor your feelings and to pay attention to what you need emotionally. And that seems like a luxury for a lot of people, because a lot of us grow up without that option, right? Especially those of us who come from more of a working class background, right? It's like you got to show up and you got to do your job. You don't show up, you're going to get fired. And so there's a lot that we push down to keep going. You got mouths to feed at home, or you got to keep your roof over your head and make sure there's food in the fridge. And you might be in anguish, you might be depressed, you might be going through heartache, but you push it down. You push it down, you stuff it down, because you got to get up and you got to go to work. You can't think about that right now. And some of you might be finding yourself in a situation where either you can't hold it down anymore, or the universe has put you on some kind of a timeout where all of a sudden you have free time. And maybe you're working on these business ideas and concepts, but you have to focus on the spiritual, on the emotional. Some of you maybe are doing a spiritually based business. And I'm telling you right now from my own experience, there is no possible way that you can make a living off of spiritual work and be consistent with it if you are not making time for your emotional self-care. You will burn out. I promise you that. People don't realize that spiritual work is very emotionally exhausting and physically exhausting, especially if you're an empath. It's very rewarding. It's very satisfying. And it's very beautiful. But if you're not taking care of you, there is no way that you can do it in the long term. And some of you might be saying, well, how can I strengthen my spiritual gifts and abilities? How can I get to the level where I could be comfortable enough to even do that kind of work? Again, my dears and my darlings, it comes down to your emotional self-care. The more that we heal emotionally and we do our emotional work, the more we go back to our natural state and our spiritual connection. And hearing our intuition and feeling our intuition and being guided and being directed. So make time to honor your feelings. If there's something you need to cry, cry about it. If there's something you need to be angry about it. Let yourself feel the feeling and ride out the wave. That's how you're going to release. We hear so much about releasing. We're like, oh, how do I release? Ride out that wave. Feel the feeling. Be angry. Be sad. Mourn. Grieve. Until it's gone. Get it out of your system. And then you can do a prayer of gratitude. Then you can set the intention of what you're going to replace that space with now. What you're going to fill it up with now. What you're calling in. What you're manifesting. Very important to make time for your emotional self-care and to honor your feelings. Your next card coming up here, Taurus, is the Temperance card. Some of you could be dealing with a Sagittarius. If you have a Sagittarius placement, there can be really big changes and shifts happening for you in that area of your life. However, the Temperance card is going to be about balance, right? Balance, timing, trusting in divine timing, but also the Temperance card has an element of it of being called, answering a calling, and stepping onto your life path. You're being guided onto your life path. You have asked for this. You've asked for purpose. You've asked for, why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing? Now, I want to clarify something. Not everybody's life path is directly connected to income and how they make a living. So not everybody's life purpose is tied into their livelihood. For some people it is. But a lot of you have just been like how can I be of use, or what am I meant to do? And the Temperance card tells us is that you're beginning to hear that calling. It's becoming more clear. You're beginning to understand it and you're beginning to step on the path. And helping in the capacity you're meant to help. And I've said this for a few other of the signs. A lot of you are realizing you're a light worker and you're stressing out about it because you don't know how to put it to use, you don't know how to help. Not all light workers are meant to read tarot cards or do energy healing or do life coaching. Those are ways, and many light workers help, right? But some people do it through being a teacher. Some people do it through invention, creating things that are helping mankind, that are helping the planet or the earth, through science and logic. Some people do it through music and art, helping others connect and move and heal. Some people do it through promoting health services, helping other people be healthy, helping other people be well, helping other people have holistic, nutrition and guidance. I've said this in other videos. I have a very close friend. She's a very powerful healer. She works as a hairdresser. She's a wonderful hairdresser. But people don't realize they sit in that chair and they're getting an amazing new hairstyle and hair color, but she's also doing energy healing on them. She didn't even realize she was doing it for the longest time. So you're going to reach people in your capacity. Don't panic and don't freak out if you're like, well, I don't know how I'm going to start a church, or I don't know how I'm going to have a YouTube channel, or I don't know how it's going to happen naturally in your natural state and the things that you do. It can be in the children that you are raising as a parent. And those children may go on to do very valuable and important things. It doesn't have to be something that you're making money from. And it might be seemingly very subtle, but you have no idea how it's going to impact the future. And a lot of you are beginning to realize this is what I'm being called to do. This is what I'm doing right now. This is how I'm making a contribution. You may want to check out your moon sign and rising sign videos. Some weeks are going to resonate more than others. You may need a private reading, which I'm more than happy to do for you. If you go to calendly.com/amethystangelite, you can schedule a private reading with me there. Love and romance readings for December are linked in the comments. You guys will be seeing the 2022 forecast starting to pop up over the next few hours before December 1st. My goal is to have all of them uploaded. But I thank you all for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. Wishing you all a wonderful week, my dears. Take care, my lovelies.